Miriam. It's so good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good.
I am glad that you agreed to this interview, and it's a way for me to know you and then for us to discuss. I'm sure we'll have a good time here.
I know.
Okay.
Thanks for inviting me as well.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so let's just start. You know, I have heard so many things about you and all over social media, I should say. But really, I want to know who Bisola Miriam really is. So many people also want to know. Some people think you're controversial, some people think you're straightforward, some people think, oh, Bisola Miriam is somebody that you shouldn't get too close to, you shouldn't move away from, and you know, all of these rumors and speculations about you. So who is Bisola?
So I don't know where to start. My name is Bisola from the very beginning. I mean, people know me as Bisola, and over time I wanted to change myself, not who I am, but more of my identity. And so now I like it when people call me Bisola Miriam. I was born into a family of 4 children. I am the first child of out of 4 kids. I have 2 brothers and a sister. I was raised in a single parent family. The only parent I knew was my mother. But I grew up, became a teenager, and I wanted to know, who is my dad? Like, where is my father? And I actually grew up knowing my stepfather more than I knew my dad. But of course, I knew from the way my mom used to talk, I knew there was a father somewhere. So I wanted to know him. And so I grew up in the north. I was in Bida, Niger State. We moved from there to the southwest. We were living in Oshobo before we came to Ibadan. No, it wasn't that my family moved to Ibadan. So I was in high school. And after high school, I applied to study law. I wasn't given I was not, well, it wasn't I wasn't given. You know, we always say they did not give us.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wasn't, my cutoff was not bad, but was not competitive enough to get me in a law degree, into a law, degree or a law program. And also, I didn't know people to use their influence to get me into that program. So long story short, I got into classics because my mother was insisting that I go to school. It wasn't like I was so old. I was just 17. I was in SS2, I had 1 year to finish high school. So if I had stayed back, at least I could have even gotten into school to do a law degree.
Exactly.
But my mother was just insisting that I go to school at that time. The reason, I have no idea. Of course, I didn't have a voice of my own. So I got into classics because I couldn't make law or communication arts. And then I was in classics reading about Wole Soyinka and the rest. And I think, no, not Wole Soyinka, Cicero Obesaoke, Bola Ige, right? So I think learning about the fact that he read classics just kept me motivated, and I kept saying to myself, I'm still going to study law. But I spent 4 years, went back, finished with the first class, went back, had my master's program there because it was convenient. And so, there is no job now. Like when there is no job, you just
keep going to school.
So I went back and I was getting paid some stipend, and I was also a teaching assistant. Now, before that, I got married as a 3rd year. What do we call 3rd year? Junior year, right? Junior year. Yeah. So I was a junior when I got married. I was 19 when I married, and I had 2 kids in between graduating from my first degree and in between graduating from my master's program. And I think I should stop here because I can keep going on and on.
Well,
but for now, I think that kind of gives you context,
an impression about who
Bisola
Miriam is. Yeah, that's true. And I know with what I know about you or what I've heard, I'm sure you are still pursuing that law degree. But
definitely, girl.
Yeah. So I know you wear many hats. You're a cook. Could I say a dance coach? Because we see your videos and everything.
I'm not a dance coach yet.
Okay.
I'm just
you're still in the mood.
Yeah.
I know you're an entrepreneur. But writing, did you ever think you were going to write as a kid? And what gave you the motivation to write?
I think pain drives me to write. Like, if something is pissing me off, I don't know how not to write. I don't know how not to talk. And I think writing, using my hand and my voice are just these are vehicles through which I don't want to be shut up, because I've been shut up for the most part of my life from growing up. You know, when you abuse, you learn to just keep quiet. When you live in a family where you see a stepfather hitting your mother, you learn to keep quiet about it. So I think I grew up, most part of my childhood was very traumatic. And I think I grew up into normalizing trauma and things like that. So writing came naturally because it was just my way of venting. And I'm tired, I want to speak, I cannot breathe. You know that saying, right? I can't breathe. So my writing is my way. I feel good when I write about my pain. I feel good when I write something. And I think I try to always make information available when I learn something. So putting it out there is my way of saying, no, this has happened to me. Someone else does not deserve to go through this.
So someone else has to see
it so
and
they
learn from
learn. Exactly. And I remember a scripture, I can't remember, 1 Corinthians 2. No, it's not 1 Corinthians. I can't remember the actual part of the Bible. It talks about from the comfort that God has given you, you can go ahead and then comfort others. So writing is that tool, that vehicle through which I try to comfort others, right?
Yeah, and then from your book, it appears it's reliving your past, reliving childhood experiences, and hoping for a better life, if I have to put it like that. But my question is, reading the book, I think from the first thing that I got in contact with, and that's the introduction where you listed all the things you wanted to do, your chapter 1, your pledge and everything. I noticed that you had a bit of a problem or a challenge in getting a title for your book. And then the first one I saw scared me, like, oh wow, is this what I think it is? Yeah, it is indeed controversial. And then reading through, I noticed that okay, you have another title that you would have used. So why are you still contemplating on? But I don't want you to use that first. The first title, anyway.
So now I think I am going to stick with that title you don't like, because
I need to know why.
So now that's what I'm going to talk to you quickly about, or share with you quickly. I think I said something about my growing up and my past, and I think have been running away from my past. And what you run away from, they always say you attract. So I ended up attracting what I was running away from my childhood. So I was resisting my mother, and I attracted my mother in a husband. So why am I saying this? What I'm saying basically is I didn't have any bond with my mom. We hope we'll get there someday, but I didn't have that nurturing, that validation, and everything a child should get from, being in a family, right? And so all of that was missing. And I think when I met my partner then, it was me running away from something. And so because at the beginning, validation came, nurturing came, I thought it was real and genuine. And along the line, I saw that no, this is the same person I have been running away from. Because what I know from my relationship with my mother is it's a toxic cycle. There's something called trauma bond. She validates you, she invalidates you, she nurtures you, like she discards you. So, you just keep going around that circle, and then you keep feeling loved, rejected, loved, rejected. So for example, hold on. Can we end that and start the second part? Because Koni Flow